a lot of the fear that women have around money, that women have around life and being able to receive the things that they want in general is really rooted in this fear of being dependent. Feeling like if they are dependent, whether that be on a man or whether that just be on the universe, that something will go wrong, that the shoe is going to drop, that somebody is going to take advantage of them, that a man is going to ruin your life. And that is not the case. Peace and prosperity. Welcome back to Earth's Feminine. This is Asaya, and in today's video, we are going to be talking about how living in a feminine way is never going to be realistic. My Wealthy Woman Activation Training, the 3 steps that you need to take to release anxiety and desperation around money and love now, is available. The link to that is down below in the description. And if you're interested in signing up for the Soft Life Experience, where I'm going to be teaching women exactly how to start getting men to practically and financially support you in your life, for you to stop carrying all of the burdens on yourself and feeling like you have to do everything yourself. The link to those things are down below in the description. And without further ado, let's hop straight into the video. I received a couple of questions I'm going to get into on my Stop Telling Women to Get a Job video. So in this video, I am really breaking down how women are being conditioned to feel like they have to work, feel like they have to get a job, feel like they have to live their life in a certain way. And I'm really diving deep into how this is really not the way of the feminine. It is not the way of the feminine to feel pressured into labor and having to do things for money, right? It's really like a type of slavery. And I relate the expectation and the pressure, especially in the Western society, to basically have to go out and work in order for us to live and experience life. I'm relating that really back onto how we are all being conditioned. This is something that is affecting the feminine energy of the planet. Everyone feels like we need to channel our creative energy into a very limited and boxed in way of hustling, getting a job. Even if you're an entrepreneur or a business owner, you will tend to take on very masculine mindsets around this is how I need to make money. And typically, when women do this, I know when I was in this energy, you end up being burnt out, you end up being exhausted, and you end up running your body thin, right? You end up running your body thin. And for me, in my experience, I ran my body to the ground, okay? And I neglected myself during my pregnancy. I neglected myself post pregnancy, postpartum, like, and I had to deal with that. There was a moment in my life where I could not do anything. I couldn't work. I couldn't really indulge in my creative passions because now I'm really in survival mode because I was neglecting the primal aspects of myself for so long. I'm diving deep into pretty much all these things in this video. Stop telling women to get a job. I want to unpack this comment that I received. So Sandra B said, I understand all of this info, but it's not realistic. Sorry. Then she goes on to say, don't ever depend on a man. All right. So then we have a comment underneath. Stella replied. I think I maybe replied to it. I don't know. But Stella replied, And she says, it's not necessary to rely on a man. If you learn to manifest like a pro, you can literally manifest money out of thin air like Helen Hadsel did, which I mentioned, and I talk about Helen Hadsel in my How I Manifested $10,000 video. She goes on to say she lived by winning lotteries, all sorts of different contests, TV contests, for example, and she would just know how to win. My aim in life is to be able to manifest just like Helen Hadsel did, not to rely on a man. We are goddesses. I'm editing that. She said God, but we are goddesses. We can provide for ourselves. It's just that it takes training to get to Helen Hadsel's level. So there's two things that I really want to unpack from these comments. The first thing, which I feel like is the most important thing, living in a feminine way requires you to be dependent. As much as American and Western society hates the idea of being dependent, a lot of the fear that women have around money, that women have around life and being able to receive the things that they want in general is really rooted in this fear of being dependent. And feeling like if they are dependent, whether that be on a man or whether that just be on the universe, that something will go wrong, that the shoe is going to drop, that somebody, is going to take advantage of them, that a man is going to, you know, just by default, if you're depending on a man, he's going to basically ruin your life. And that is not the case. It's the same thing if you are deciding to depend on the universe for your financial abundance, for your money, for your wealth. When you have that fear of depending, and really it's not, the depending isn't like this blind dependency, but it is a faith that you have in God, okay? It's a faith that you have in God, in the universe, in the higher power to always take care of you. And I really want to talk about how, in order to live in a feminine way, you have to get comfortable with the idea of depending on masculinity. If you want to have a healthy relationship with men and with masculinity, depending on them and feeling like you can depend on a man is paramount. If you have a fear of depending on men, then there are some things that you need to work through as far as your subconscious beliefs, your past trauma, all of these things. We typically go through things, and when we don't do the healing necessary after we've been through what we've been through, so we can manifest the new reality, what we tend to do is we tend to hold on to these experiences as if they are truth, absolute truth. And the truth is subjective. There are absolute truths that are objective, and then there are subjective truths. What you experience in life doesn't mean that it has to be true forever. It is a choice. What you choose to be true is a choice. It is up to you to decide what your truth is going to be, what your story is going to be. We're not going to ignore reality, okay? Because this is I think where people misunderstand this concept. We're not completely ignoring what's going on as if it's not going on. We're not going to ignore the fact that there are men that do take advantage of women and try to use money to control them. That is something that does happen. But does it have to happen to you? No. So the way masculine energy works in a woman's life is masculine energy, and I'm going to reference my masculine energy video that I did, the sacred masculine energy via the masculine planets in astrology, and how these masculine planets are influencing us in the way that we experience masculinity, aligned masculinity and misaligned masculinity or distorted masculinity, all of those things. And so I want y'all to go to that video after you're done watching this. Go to that video and watch the section that I explained on Jupiter, because Jupiter is an aspect of masculinity that we as women, our relationship with Jupiter is how we are relating to the men in our life, whether we like it or not, because Jupiter is a masculine planet. So that masculine influence is there. And as a feminine woman, we are going to be interacting with that Jupiter energy through the men in our life. When we are in a relationship with a man that we can have complete devout faith in, right? I have faith in this man. I trust this man to lead me and to guide me. This is how we are supposed to relate to men. And so when we are in this energy of I don't want to depend on a man, we're not allowing ourselves to have a healthy relationship with masculine energy, because masculine energy was designed for us to be able to depend on and to trust and to have faith in, to guide us and to keep us in alignment, okay, with the divine, with the highest power. This is why masculine energy rules more over religion and philosophies and ways of life, right? Like structured ways of life, because it gives the spirituality of Neptune, which is the planet of spirituality, the feminine planet of spirituality, the unknown. Jupiter gives Neptune structure. It benefits us to rely on men and to depend on men financially. And if we have had a bad experience in doing that, that just means that we had something that we needed to learn and or evolve into about men and about our relationship with men and money. That's it. Y'all be making it like you're making it into more than what it needs to be by pouring all of these, you know, all of these traumatic emotions that you haven't healed from into the concept of depending on men. So it is okay for you to depend on a man. I encourage it. I encourage you to depend on the men in your life. It is healthy for you to do that. It is good for you to do that. The problem comes in when you don't know how to do it correctly. So that's why I have not only the soft life experience as an add-on for the wealthy women activation training, but I also have valued and worthy. So we're about to be getting really really deep in within valued and worthy, where I'm really going to be getting real with y'all. I feel like last year I was kind of getting a really good idea of what women really needed, at least women in my field and within the Earth Feminine community needed from me. But now I'm very clear what y'all need from me. And I'm about to get really, really real within Valued and Worthy as far as the energetics that you are carrying that is causing you to continue choosing men that you can't have faith in, that you can't trust, and that you can't depend on. And what we want to do is completely rewire that to you attracting and choosing men that you can clearly depend on, that are stable in their faith, in their morale, and they are going to treat you right no matter what. That is the first thing that I want to clarify. And also, if you're interested in signing up for Valued and Worthy, make sure you click the link down below in the description. Or if you are wanting to work with me one-on-one and or within a group setting, send me a DM to my Instagram at Earth's Feminine, and I will send you the details. The second thing, this is piggybacking off of how when we want to be and live in a realistic way, it is going to be very hard for us to be in our feminine because reality is here to support the feminine. It is not here to control what the feminine gets to experience and what the feminine gets to have. Once you start allowing reality to dictate what you get to have, who you get to be, and how you get to exist, that is the same thing as you walking around in fear of men controlling you. If you were to ever depend on a man, of him controlling you, that's literally the same thing. You're doing the same thing in your life. You're allowing a life and the realities of life to control you. Don't you see how this same energetic of masculine energy, and how masculine energy representing the realities of life, people allow that to control them and dictate the trajectory of who they get to be in in their lifetime. Do not let that be you. If you want to be a sovereign feminine woman, you have to remember and you have to understand that you're not going to live realistically. You have to set the bar wherever you want the bar to be, and do the inner work necessary to line up with that place, with that person, with that woman who has the life that she desires to live. And that is exactly what Helen Hadsell, I believe, what Helen Hadsell did. I've watched several of her documentaries. I watched like a 2 hour long sit down with her interview when she was still alive. You know, she really is an inspiration. But I guarantee you, Helen Hansel felt this the exact same way that I am describing to you, because Helen Hansel also had a husband. I don't know if y'all know this, but Helen Hansel was married and she had several children, and her husband supported her in her manifestation dreams, right? And the things that she wanted to win and do with her time and energy. Her husband was supporting her in all of that. Let your ambitions as a woman be rooted in living in your divine alignment with who you are truly, and not who you think you should be because of the traumas of the world and the traumas of your own past. Do not let those things limit you. You can provide for yourself. It is a beautiful thing to provide for yourself. But what I'm here to tell you is that you providing for yourself is actually an illusion. You are never, nobody is ever really providing for themselves. We are all being provided for by the divine. We are all being gifted abundance, money, prosperity, wealth by the divine, and our relationship with the universe, with God, with the highest power. And the men in our life are a reflection of our relationship to this highest power. And how much faith we can have in our men is a reflection of how we essentially feel about the universe. I have had several women, especially older women, who have, you know, gotten married, gotten divorced, maybe even gotten divorced several times. And when I express how I want to be with a man that provides for me financially, that takes care of me, their automatic response is, how dare you want something like why would you want that? Why wouldn't you just want to have your own money? And it's like, I want both. I want both. I want the men in my life to do what they supposed to do, which is provide. Okay? And I want to experience the abundance of being in tune with my highest power, attracting all of the riches and the wealth that I deserve. I want both. So you should also want both. You should not limit yourself. Every woman should be open to experiencing abundance on all levels. Living life in a feminine way, no, it's not going to be realistic. It's not going to be what most people have brought us up teaching us how we should live. Majority of the advice we have gotten from the older generation on how we should be living our life is based on trauma and fear. If you want the best advice, talk to somebody who is not speaking from their trauma, is not speaking from their horror story of what happened to them when they decided to quit their job and do X, Y, and Z, or when they decided to get married and yada, yada, yada. You never know what is psychologically going on with people. You never know how these people think about themselves, feel about themselves. Let me know, what do y'all think about this topic? Do you think living in a feminine way should be realistic? Or do you feel like living in a feminine way is an illogical experience? It is something that is magical. Do you feel like that? Because I feel like, because of the bad experiences women have had and the toxicity that women have experienced, we have some major evolving to do, because women have gotten to this point where they're just like, actually, I don't want to depend on anything. I want to be in control of everything, and I want to be the sole controller of my life. And mind you, I'm not saying that it's not okay to have power, because a lot of people think that control is power, and it's not. True power is going to come from resting in your true nature, which is being happy in your relationships with men and with anyone really, but being content, feeling safe, feeling like you can depend on the man of your life, and also feeling safe and content and being able to depend on the divine, on the universe. The anxiety that you feel when you're in this relationship with this man, it's because you have a bad relationship with yourself and in the divine. So y'all let me know, what do y'all think about this video? What are your comments down below? And I will see you all in my next video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Peace.